Hello, welcome back to another session here. Today, I want to talk about how to stop judging. And I have little notes that I'm going to refer to so I don't lose my track here. Um, but stopping our judgments is kind of harder than it seems, and also a lot simpler than it seems. If there's anything I would like you to take away from this video, this would be two things. So the first thing I want you to take away is the idea that you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. And this is a really common sentiment, and you're going to hear it a bunch of times on this channel. Um, Essentially, how you judge the world is how harshly you judge yourself. And acknowledging that you're going to have the same essentially rhythm and timbre for how you're viewing the world and how you're looking at others based on how rough you are with yourself. And so one way of beginning to alleviate this is catching yourself in the act of judging yourself or being really harsh with yourself. And then once you begin to catch that more often, you are then able to find more gentle words, to be gentler with yourself as a whole. And it really is everywhere. The opportunity to be gentle and loving with yourself is really a beautiful, slow kind of medicine, and it takes time, but that is one way to acknowledge your judgments. The second way would be to acknowledge that most of us do a lot of black and white thinking. And so our world, our matrix really thrives off of this black and white thinking. You see it in religion, good versus evil. You see this in politics, left versus right. And sorry, my cat's being a psycho in the background. And when you zoom out of all of those things, the left wing and the right wing are all on the same bird. Like it's all the same machine. So no matter what you see, saying one thing, you're assigning good and bad to one particular thing is a little bit more closed-minded. And it's essentially taking a snapshot in time and using that to assign a life sentence. Something that this really landed for me actually recently when I was watching a TV show with my husband, and you see the character development and you see, oh my God, they did this thing. They're so horrible. And then as the show goes on, you see that they do have a beautiful side in them, but they've been having a hard time accessing it. And so is that person really bad, or is their true essence good, or are they just a human being experience the spectrum of this life and this reality? And so it is really damaging for us when we assign one label of good or bad, black or white thinking, because life runs off of a spectrum, and it's really limiting when we begin to put a cap on that. So I think it's really helpful to open your mind to that concept. Here's an example. If someone only saw the darkness in you, like if you had an event or you were out in public and you were finally fed up with something and you cracked, you said something that's out of character. If you said something that was out of character, and then you are judged by everyone in that vicinity off of that one experience, you're a villain in some people's stories. Maybe that was a first impression for other people to get to know you, and that's what they saw. But they don't see the other things that you do every day. They don't see the struggles that you go through in your life, that maybe that was the final straw of something that was really unhealthy, that you stood up for yourself. The context could be a million different things, but black and white thinking is not helpful, and being aware of your internal landscape are, I would say, the two biggest things when it comes to judgment that are really important to think about. Um, yeah. Are you defined by a moment in time?